Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to you all for the 5 days national level faculty development program on 10x AI, research acceleration and revolutions, scope and future ahead. Hearty welcome to you all on behalf of Amrita Institute of Engineering and Management Center. Now, we are going to have a panel discussion by the speakers, Dr. D.P.K. Muthukumaraswamy, Chief Executive Officer, Kriti and by Dr. Murali Loganathan, co-founder of Spirala Innovation, moderated by Dr. Manjunath S., HOD of the MBA of Amrita Institute of Engineering and Management Center. Over to you, sir.
Hello. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Kirtan. Am I audible? Yeah. This morning you listened to learn seasoned professionals on research integrity, AI tools, as well as research responsibilities in the area of AI. Now, I would like to welcome all the participants to this FDP on behalf of the committee for this panel discussion. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. On behalf of organizing committee of this 5-day faculty development program on 10x RAR, I extend warm welcome to distinguished speakers of the day, to faculty members, to researchers and participants across India. Today's session addresses one of the most significant transformations happening in the AI era. Artificial intelligence has moved from being merely a tool. It is not merely a tool. It has become our research partner. It is partnering with us in all our research endeavors. While AI dramatically accelerates literature review, writing, data analysis, idea generation, it also raises important questions about ethics, integrity, transparency, as well as responsibility as a researcher. Today, we have two distinguished experts who will help us to understand not only AI, what AI can do, but more importantly, what researchers should do responsibly while using AI in the research. After listening to both speakers, it was thought-provoking. We shall move into panel discussion now, which is going to connect the ideas, compare the perspectives, and we are going to discuss about the practical knowledge, what we are going to gain after 2 days of sessions. Then you can also have Q&A, question and answer sessions. You can also question apart from our regular panel discussion. I want to introduce two speakers at the outset. The first panelist is Dr. Murali Loganathan, co-founder of Spiralia Innovation, an expert in innovation, AI applications, and research transformation. So welcome to you. And we have another panelist, Dr. D.P.K. Muthukumaraswamy, CEO of FDP, who has extensive experience in research governance, academic ethics, and he was responsible for research practices. So welcome to you. Yes. Let me break this ice. So let me ask you one question. If AI suddenly disappears before we are going to complete our panel discussion, what will happen to research ecosystems? If suddenly disappears, but before we are going to end up our panel discussion, what will happen to all the participants who are to the research?
This is actually not a new question for that matter. And there have been predictions even within science fiction literature that big libraries will get burnt out. We'll be seeing loss of it. That it is not as if we can switch off AI. We can switch off one AI company, which means I have other options to go to. This first response. Second response is that let all companies get switched off by the government. I can still run AI locally in my computer. It has come to that level. So in a sense, we are not seeing there is something completely unforeseen. We have seen examples throughout history. And the counter example also there. For example, AI companies are the largest buyers of physical books in this world. Did you think this will happen? And these are the same people who are telling that we are replacing all software engineers, but they are continuing to recruit most software engineers in the world right now. So this is a contradiction of sorts. Even if you switch off, world will remain as is because the original economy still remains.
What is your perspective now?
I'll have a different take. What if I agree with you? For the sake of, not just for the sake of, but by understanding. I wish that we be prepared. He was talking about one data set or data set, one model being shut off or turned off. So while I acknowledge the importance and its development, AI's development, let us be grounded that be prepared for a day that if I am led to a situation, I get these weird sort of scenarios. I am on a flight. I don't know how many of you have seen this Cascade, movie called Cascade. And I am the most fortunate and unfortunate guy who has to get. I mean, I survived the crash and land up in a godport second island. How will I survive? If I'm going to look for AI, and I was even thinking for myself an answer. So, fortunately, I was able to even support my mobile safe. And now with all that, what do you call this? Starlink, and I'm still connected. I was thinking all of it. How do I process? If I don't even know the basic of things, what question also I don't. With a sort of question way using AI is actually non-human like, non-natural. People ask as simple. The most number of queries on AI they ask is how to commit suicide. Ethical, that I mean, whatever. Should I talk about it? What about every other thing they are asking it? It's as if like I don't want to think the right term that police said in his talk is. It's not even about cheating or it's sheer laziness. So if it's turning off, not all is lost. Good research continues. Smart people will continue. Market for them is promising. The rest of them will perish.
Thank you. But trust me, without AI tools, I did my literature review for 6 months. When I was submitting my thesis, it took 6 months for me to do literature review. Every day, 2 or 3 papers. Yeah, thank you for that. Let me ask you one more interesting question. Is AI making researchers smarter or research easier? They are becoming smarter, their process is becoming easier.
I think smarter, easier is a very difficult question, but lazier is absolutely true. And I've seen this one too. And lazy is in a way smart. Think about it. Hey, if we can get it done, quicker with much less energy consumption. I mean, probably having teenage daughters and sons.
You mean to say laziness is the mother of invention?
Laziness is, of course, a form of smartness. So that is absolutely the case. But it is not. It's laziness with a purpose in the sense like I won't even take the effort to understand the domain, and I won't even take the effort to understand what is coming up. I won't even take the effort to define what I want. In fact, most lazy people are very persistent about it, and they are persistent in solving for that laziness, which actually uncovers reasonable set of insights that has helped us in historically from a science discovery perspective also. So I respect that lazy student, and it is one type of laziness. The laziness is actually very lame, where children's YouTube videos, for example, is one of the most abused see, and there are YouTube handles that basically are complete AI slop. They don't even bother prompting in a proper way. Generate a 10 series video for kids of the age, and then they stop. Upload it. It generates something, they upload it from the handle, and it goes and consumes, and they make money from YouTube. This type of laziness is actually the main laziness. I'm actually interested in the laziness that is a little bit smarter, little bit pointed, little bit with intent. Hey, this is what I want to do, and I want to be lazy in that manner.
Want to say it should be creative lazy.
Lazy is what we are expecting from AI, and I don't want to be the lame lazy.
Okay. Yeah, Dr. Muthu, your perspective on that.
Okay, I would go to the lazy guy. I'll still stick on to the laziness. I'll go to the lazy guy when I. The lazy guys are the ones who find all the loopholes and get things done fast. And he will go to any length and extent to get it done. So that my job or things where I'm only interested in getting things done fast, I'll go to the lazy guy. If I want something to be in depth, thoroughly developed and researched and built, I will not go into the lazy guy. So that's not where I'm going to be. I go to the AI where the regular grind can do it fast, and I can give you right prompts, it solves problem, sort of things in this way. I will do that. But trying to infer from it another aspect of saying, would you be okay for it to be used in research? I mean, per se, I would say not for research. The other day, someone was telling that I got some reference, I referred some articles which are not relevant. Good to know that you referred an article which is not relevant. You know how your adjacent areas are. If you're going to get prompts from AI, you'll be so focused, you don't even know what is beyond that. You don't even know is your area for research work. Is there any unique opportunity?
You mean to say this kind of FDPs will create better research or better prompt engineering?
Okay. The onus lies on the receiver. That's all I will say. Some may think, the guys who are talking here are all anti-technologists. They'll talk this. No, AI is good. Yes, AI is good because you've already been convinced. Others who want to be very cautious, they sense that this can lead to a challenge. Because tomorrow, PhD, whether it is Dr. Murli's or mine, I can defend us, but if you go beyond and someone who's in that core of the subject, if you haven't done your work properly, you cannot depend us. Straight report, they'll thrash you out. So the choice is yours. You're ready to get thrashed or you want to defend yourself because you know it.
Only what is it? Yeah, are creating better research through this kind of FDP or better prompt engineering?
Yeah, I mean, our hope is to get better faculty who understand the student requirements better, understand the research process better, and know the limits of where a specific technology can take us. So our hope is to make them realize that and shying away from that core research responsibility that we have, which comes with the hours that we put in. Like, we think by writing, we don't think and write. Only when you write, you actually form the thoughts clearly. Similarly, you read and you sleep, and then you make sense. It's not as if you read and then immediately make sense. You need that time to basically chew on it, actually make sense, identify patterns, etc. And all of that, you think AI can shortcut, but unfortunately won't. And that is not how we want faculty to use it. We want the faculty to empathize on how they are approaching research. They want to be able to better help students. That's basically where we are going. So prompt engineering is probably a means, but that's not the end that we are.
You mean to say intersection of both? They should know how to prompt.
Possibly, but faculty should have done research and should have the experience to guide it.
You mean to say they should start from scratch with the rigorous research?
Yeah.
Then they should get into it.
Yeah, so that's something that you don't understand, have a clear bit understanding. So that edges of some output that is coming from AI, you should be able to identify if it is useful or not. So if you don't know the method yourself, if you accept everything that's coming.
That what is the one skill which is most critical for this AI, for the teachers, researchers? Critical skill where they need to hone so that they can use this AI in the right direction. Yeah, Muthu, what is your perspective? What skill?
A must-have skill is to read and understand. Since we are all not native English, we're not English speakers. That's the challenge. No matter how good you are in English, understanding technical writing is the challenge. I will have to acknowledge. And if you want to become a researcher, there's no second shortcut. There's no second opinion, no shortcut. Take the time. It will take time. The sooner you're able to crack the code, the better. The reason why I'm saying many of us use I think it's called paraphrase.
Paraphrase.
Or give the summary of the paper. I mean, there are a lot of these tools. You just copy in the article and say, please give me the essence or summary of it. I think reading, understanding, and not, I mean, failing to understand and trying to attempt at it is persistent, is a skill that you must have, whether in AI or not AI. You must mandatorily do this. This is a research or this is a skill that a researcher should have.
I have a slightly extended take, but not as contradiction really. I mean, I'm going to contradict everything that Dr. Muthu says. I feel that we are in a situation where read and understand is one portion of it, but in the AI terms, it is called as evals. Evals is writing evaluations for things that needs evaluation. And I'll give you an example. So one of the agents that we wrote for Spidey AI is called as the patent agent. So patent agent does actually two jobs, and you can give any number of inputs, you can give any number of patents, and then slash patent decomposer and give that patent URL. What it does is it translates the patent into simple human readable English so that you will be able to understand. And second, it actually figures out which are the core novel areas of the claim that is inside and tells you where are the edges of the claim. This is basically what the decomposer is in a language that you can understand. Now, how do I know what is generated from this mode 1 and mode 2 character? Because ultimately, when I'm showing something to the user, I as a company need to ensure that what is coming out is actually right. I should actually be a good evaluator to tell if this is worthy enough to put in front of a researcher. Similarly, you will need to figure out whatever the student is evaluating or generating with AI, etc. Are you having tools that equip yourself to evaluate what is coming out? Are you able to see the edges of it? Are you able to identify which part of it is actually human ingenuity, which part of it is slop, which part of it is absolute false, which part of it is absolute, chunk, for example? Are you able to write the eval for yourself as a, faculty? If not, what's going to happen is that for a 2-page output paper, they give you a 20-page output, and if you have an 80% class, you are gone for the semester. You won't be able to evaluate anybody out. That is a big issue that I am seeing coming up. So writing evals is a skill that all of us need to develop, and that is a very important skill from a AI era perspective. That is a very important skill.
Yeah, thank you. Researchers and participants focus the basic skill of reading. You need to focus on it. Reading is crux. It is critical. Without which even BI cannot do anything. And tomorrow people may use AI to check which AI I should use. They may use one AI and they may ask prompt, which AI should I use to write a paper? Probably that era is not very far. Okay, let me ask you.
Dr. M.S. Nagarajan, sir, Professor of AI and ML and Convener of this national FDP. He also wants to join this panel discussion.
Please. Dr. Nagaranda, Professor, PhD from IIT Delhi. Sir, yeah. Thanks for joining. One more. How should
Yeah, actually, sir has given correct message. I think research is somewhat very specific solution for a problem. Problem is very defined. Solutions are many, but it is very much essential to identify which solution is the ultimate. For that, it requires a lot of practice, focus, research, discussions, and I think guides and panel definitely take care of this particular aspect to tune the researcher and to break and where to break, where to release his thesis and where to release his synopsis and where to allow him. I think guides are very smart and they will do this work in most of the national level research organizations. But I think it may not be there in some other. I don't want to mention about that. But for a research, it is very essential for sincere hard work, Anyway, tools are available to make our work faster, smarter, but still knowledge plays a role where we can give a good solution to a challenging problem. Yeah, this is my comment. Thank you.
Nice perspective, sir. Means AI should augment us, it should not replace us. It should increase our speed of thinking, speed of work, but ultimately we are the one we are going to read, learn, then we are going to deliver it. Thank you. Let me ask you one more question. Where should we draw the ethical boundary between AI assistance and AI dependence? And also considering the originality of assistance, AI dependence, and the originality. And all the three, two are from IISc, one more is from IIT Delhi. Can you please throw your perspectives to the crowd?
One of the analyses that might be useful to you is think about it as computer graphics in movies. So computer graphics in movies have been there for a long time. And at what point did computer graphics assisted movie production? At what point did computer graphics enhanced this thing? At what point did computer graphics native movies have come? And at what point did originality fall? So the tech-wise, I just shifted from one era to a previous era into a medium that is understandable by all of us. Right? So when you think about CG, today you take any Netflix series or movies that are getting released in theaters, there is definitely a CG team that has actually looked at it, whether it is on the production side, whether it is on the touch-up side, whether it is on the they have definitely looked at it. There are fully computer generated movies that are coming. There are obviously native, this thing like for example, there are studios that are doing only this, for example. So for a previous era, we didn't have this question. Like for example, did we get original movies even when computer graphics was there or not? And we never had that question. Only for AI we have this question. So the question is only showing that how powerful this can actually become, and it is a realization that you should definitely have. And one of the things that my friend actually is advising to consumer AI is that right now we have a human sort of intelligence, and then we have a thing. Things don't have intelligence. Things don't have sentience. Humans have intelligence. Humans have sentience. They are able to be aware of themselves. Artificial intelligence is actually in between. It borrows some characteristics from things, some characteristics from humans. It is able to speak. It is able to do certain things intelligent. It is not sentient. It doesn't have consciousness. So it's borrowing from a thing. It is borrowing from a human also. So it is of a category that we are not able to characterize. It is a new entity that is in the middle of us and trying to act like a human, but we know it is lifeless. We know it can be autonomous, but we know that it is not a human. So it is not with the same lens we can actually approach this being. I mean, I don't know if it is a being or a thing, but it is that new entity that requires a slightly different comprehension altogether. That's something that we have to have in mind. Then you can actually tell that. But it enhances, in my opinion, in any which way. That is undeniable fact, and we are able to do things faster. But are we using our originality? Are we using our creativity? No. And we are able to do better things. We are able to do more things. And we are able to keep more free time for us. What to do with your free time is up to you. But if technology is taking more and more of your time, there's no point there. In my opinion, technology has to make me 100% lazy. That is what is a good technology.
Interesting perspective. Interesting. Because, Takamuli is able to throw on the Bahubali 1, Bahubali 2, War Machine movie, Robo 2.0. All the movies, if you see, there is assistance, there is dependence, there is originality. They try to blend all the three. You mean to say, probably all the three will become inevitable part of the system, ecosystem?
Because the newer generation has to go more quicker.
Yeah, your perspective.
Recently, what on the topic of movies and things. First thing is that the first thing is that dependency or assistance. So where there is a rut, I know there's a code, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Where I have the purpose for a wheel, I know how it works, and somebody has worked on it, I'm just going to borrow it or take it and use it. But I have to repurpose it and rework on it. I'm certainly not going to do this because the way it works and where it comes from is clueless, or I should be able to feed those. The word is not prompt. Prompts alone don't solve the problem. Let us, in context, okay, we are also in development of a platform for ideation, for companies to ideate, which uses tri-association using AI to build on everything, fine. However, it is a part of my own team is developing it. I am also somewhere saying this is not to be used for. A simple point is, I have one of my own ideas which is not yet on the general public domain or something, and I asked it to create an idea with some 3 different prompts and tri-association. And guess what? It gave amazing solutions, and solutions are all available in the market. Whatever is in the general domain or the public database, it can only think that much. Can it think beyond it? I was hoping that it will predict whatever I had done, even the slightest of them. It didn't. Okay? And talking about movies, like Dr. Murli said, if technology has to go full, let it go on full on, let it make me lazy. Full lazy. And what you do with the laziness is the question.
I don't agree.
No, I'm not. It's not a judgmental. When you're lazy, what you want to do, sir? It's individual. I'm not judging. It's individual. Given that as a background, today, even he mentioned about there are studios that are full on AI content. The biggest AI content generator of spinner is our very friendly big dragon besides us. Do you know what is their purpose? And you know who's the biggest consumer of that content? Any guess? We as Gen Z, okay, it's in India. Maximum consumption of these productions are in India. Consumption, not production. Production in the Red Dragon is being consumed by Indians. Why is this done? Any guess? Not all wars are won today by missiles, and not even cyber attacks.
Let me intervene here. Now the biggest reason for this is we are having world's 19% population. We are the consumer. We are not the producer. You look into any country in the world, they target us because we are 19% of the population and they are 18. They are decreasing, they are sinking to 17 and we are even increasing to 20. They target us because we have maximum users in the world. Okay, let me continue that discussion. What is your perspective, sir?
Middle comment. India is a second world. Then we are a consumer. Now we are also in production sector. That's why I think down the line we may become developed country. To some, now we are in population. Maybe in other domain, we may develop our technologies. We may develop our products, and we may cater. I think pharmaceutical industry is somewhat dominating across the globe, where we are catering to the entire world. I think we have seen it in the COVID situation. And the question is like how AI can assist us and what is the dependency from our side. In my perspective, see, any technologies is growing, exponentially growing. I was discussing with my professor, Dr. Amit Sen, he will come online. And he told AI will die soon because it is growing exponentially. Anything grows fast, it will die fast. So that is one perspective from some of the scientists and some of the researchers. So for this question, what I feel, my personal opinion is, and Muthu sir also openly discussed that we should depend on our knowledge, our capabilities, and our expertise. And technology is just an assist to make our repetitive work, laborious work, as simple as possible. That's it. Whether it make us as something that is different. I think we have seen, as so told about movies, in Robo it has Even the what happens if technology transfer to machine will destroy. If that machine is a machine, we don't know anything, it's a nonsense idiot. But we need to follow some ethics, some morals, and some responsibility for the people and for the world.
Yeah.
This is my thing.
Interesting perspective, new addition. Let me ask you plagiarism. Right? Do AI reduce plagiarism or create new forms of plagiarism? What is your take on that? AI reduces plagiarism or it creates new forms of plagiarism. Because I've seen the people they use, can you paraphrase? They give 2 lines, 3 lines, 1 paragraph. It is going to rephrase and give. And they are going to convert 1 paper into 10 papers only through paraphrase. I've seen the people literally that way. Some more. I've seen literally people are using it left and right.
It's true. I mean, we'll see newer forms of plagiarism, we'll see higher amounts of plagiarism and stuff like that. And detecting that is going to become difficult. What this basically means is that the evaluation criteria that we have as faculty for ourselves right now is the number of papers published, for example, becomes meaningless. So, because at this point in time, if the number of papers published is the evaluation criteria for your promotion, for your incentive, etc., and everybody is targeting that, it stops being a useful metric to actually evaluate the quality faculty. And journals which are not able to tell that if a paper is plagiarized or not, and they are actually remaining in a say paid publication, for example, then there is no reason to be getting published in a category channel, B category channel, etc. Rather, you would publish your own article in your own words into a Substack and generate a DOI for that, and through say Open Science Foundation or wherever that is that you can generate a DOI. You're actually good enough, and it is available in archive as a PDF, and people are able to refer your research and directly cite. We don't have to worry about whether it is evaluated by a third party, typically a first world country journal who seems to have a higher rating caste system that they have with respect to the journals. They seem to have all the A and A star journals that refuses to have any meaning to me anymore. And because they are not able to handle it, we are not able to handle it, so we agree who the hell is bothered about publishing. That's basically where it's leading towards.
What do you think tomorrow they may ask you along with the paper, they may need to give the AI consent?
AI consent is already there, and in fact, AI is becoming a co-author.
Co-author, yeah, they should
You should be able to. I mean, who stops me from actually adding Claude as for example? If I'm able to generate workspace in Claude and actually generate my full paper. So again, it becomes a problem for us. The thing and the being, it is in between. And if it is a being, but it's a human, they are allowing for authorship. If it is a thing, they are not allowing authorship. Now it is in between. If we allow authorship, that's a question that is not yet answered.
Yeah, but you might not ask one more question. Who owns it next? Whether Claude or human being was going to use the Claude to
That is
create a paper.
legal question. Yeah, so it is accountability legal. In some cases, for example, somebody recently, it's 1.5 2 years back, early basis of ChatGPT, uploaded a full ASIC design of a Samsung IC design to question based on computer vision algorithms, and it became in the public domain. Whatever that was there as a novel design inside that, it became private. That was a stupid mistake, but the entire IP actually what was
Can
lost.
you throw more light on that so participants should understand?
So one of the internal IP, which was a design of a IC from inside Samsung, the design actually got uploaded into ChatGPT, and uploader was trying to question on top of it, and it got shared in the public domain URL on the ChatGPT at that time, because that was in a very early stages, and to get free usage, whatever chat that was there, it was going into public domain. So it became prior art, and Samsung lost much of the IP in that, and it was obviously a trade secret violation also. So that happened, and that sort of a thing is
It can happen to researchers also, right? If you are asking original questions, original data, if it enters into the repository of the AI, definitely it may not remain as your intellectual property.
This is actually very common in plagiarism checkers. If you're aware of turning type of plagiarism checkers, like you should be very careful, because there is two logins, one of a student, one of a evaluator. faculty, etc. When you upload a PDF that you have written yourself and you're trying to check plagiarism, right? There is a checkbox which clearly tells that do not add to the repository, right? If you don't uncheck that, it is going to add to it. And then you submit the same paper to a journal. Although it is your own upload, you're going to be, flagged as 80% plagiarist.
Sir,
So if you're not aware of this, then you're messed up. Similarly, if you're uploading a draft paper into Claude, and Claude terms of service is basically going to put it in public domain, and that is indexed by a journal, you're going to be identified under plagiarism. If you're not even aware of this, basic checks that you need to do as a researcher, then you will learn it the hard way, and that is probably a good way to learn. So, in the sense, you may miss one draft, but you never commit that mistake again. Because you lost the complete draft, you would not do it again. So it's a perfect way to learn. It's learning by doing and doing the bad thing. And that's basically what the learning is.
this question to Dr. Muthu. Dr. Muthu, if I'm taking the content from Claude or any other platform, can I cite it?
So, depending on what is the purpose, if you're talking in terms of research articles or academic sources or write-ups, Claude cannot be cited. Because Claude, like we said, it is neither a person nor a thing, and it is a repository. Its inference is a repository of multiple data. Okay, it doesn't even exactly pinpoint and say this. If you even look through your chat, these days they give Copilot gives you some links from where they collated all of it. You won't even know exactly which term or which aspect of it is taken from which of those fields. Okay, so if you're going to cite Claude, who is taking the ownership? The reason for citation. Why do you think we cite? As researchers, do we know why do we cite? The reason not for proof of research, onus of the information. This person has done a thorough check. I'm citing him that this person has done a thorough work based on his I'm working. Anything that is otherwise is not on me. I have borrowed, it's not information, not all of that's what I said. I don't have to reinvent the wheel over and over. Simple. I don't know who holds the accountability of that statement.
Which is not proven, and we are not sure about the continuation of it.
Exactly.
That's why we need to cite where there is proof for this.
A person written article, a person written paper.
That is also peer. That is also
Peer reviewed by somebody.
Hence it is useful. Meaning I am not declaring a truth.
I cannot be self-declared.
Exactly. That is what.
Provided the same thing cannot be copied.
Yeah.
It should be written on our own rules.
Right.
The review is nothing but we need to write our review ideas. Not the same thing is to reproduce. Something is there, he has done research, then copy it and paste it in the review. No. So we must read, understand, and we must express our views into the paper by citing his research. That is review.
So if we are clear about why do we cite in an article or a paper, you yourself will have an answer whether should you cite a Claude or not.
Sir, and one more thing I wanted to ask a question in the morning itself to Muthu. I don't call it as sir, Muthu. You started with the preamble and context. Okay, might be I thought that it is with reference to your presentation or with respect to the research. I don't know. But the most of the researchers, because I got nearly 10 research candidates in my professorship and research in 20 years, I came to know that the every chapter, the thesis, they don't start with the preamble. They directly start, which I have observed. And also I was the editor for international journals for 4 or 5 journals, Scopus Index. There also I used to get many papers from many countries. Okay, I went to that, the researchers, as I think they might have started using only the AI tools, it seems. So they should write preamble for every chapter, then they should start dictating their views or whatever the data they have collected.
The critical information participants can note down. Sorry to intervene. Here are a few questions from the audience participant. Here, just sort of this. And I want to see the question.
So, this is a standard practice, at least in ISC and our research group, is that there are three parts to this whole communication bit. We will tell you what we are going to tell you. We will tell you. And then we will tell you that we already told this. So that is the structure. And the chapter is going to tell this. Previous chapter told this. Then you tell whatever the chapter is. And at the end of the chapter, you tell this is what we told you in this chapter.
The relationship.
That is basically something that you communicate. Meaning, you tell the same thing thrice. Then you also do that same thing in introduction and the conclusion so that the whole flow is there.
Yeah.
And this is not true just at a chapter level.
Yeah.
This is actually true at a paragraph level.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it, then it's problematic for us.
And they don't know what are their research objectives and what are their conclusions, outcome. The outcomes are different, their objectives are different. And also I found that they don't know how to write the objectives. They write objectives in the form of benefits or advantage. They are not the research objectives. So many things I taught to the students, how to write objectives, how to relate them, how to write preamble. So many things have to be practiced. It comes by only by reading. It comes by referring and reading so many journal papers, then only we learn.
So within our own research lab, it's called, our professor calls it plumbing work.
That is the thank you.
But nowadays the researchers, they find shortcuts because of AI. AI should be used as a tool only, not rather for this thing. It is a kind of optimization tool. I used AI in 2006, artificial intelligence, not human intelligence. I used a bird's intelligence and ants intelligence. Even they have some own intelligence. Ant polyalgorithm might be knowing. Ant polyalgorithm, particles of optimization, they are nature created intelligence, not human intelligence. So they are also an artificial intelligence. I use them as a tool for optimization. How they used. So like that I used to tell our use tool, a newer tool, which can give results faster. But remaining work we have to do. Everything, the experimentation, conduction, ideas, and everything we have to put it. Only it should be used as a supportive tool as your thing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Whether to cite the AI tools. Legally, I think it is not, it is only a database reference. Whenever we upload or someone upload across the globe, it will be recorded as a database. And that database will come to anyone, right? So, I think it is not possible to cite that. That is what-
Let me ask you one question. Yeah. So with respect to transparency, what do you suggest, sir? After doing a research paper using all the AI tools, do we need to submit that 20% from Claude, 10% from ChatGPT, 10% from Perplexity, something like that? Can the researcher be transparent enough to tell that I used Quillbot, I used Perplexity, I used Claude? What do you think? Do they need to disclose as a researcher?
Before taking this question, things are actually expressed his opinion about you need to take ideas from the nature. Nature inspired ideas. Yes, it is definitely a good. With lot of observation, scene observation, and doing ourselves. For example, when I start my research at IIT Delhi, actually I worked for pregnant mothers, pregnant women. My professor told me, you become a pregnant. Then only you can understand the difficulties of pregnancy. difficulties of movement. Then, sir, how it is possible? No, yeah. You put one dummy on your stomach and mimic it, you can understand the difficulties of movement, difficulties of bending, difficulty of carrying the carriage, etc. Like that, see, nature has given lot many capabilities, lot many uniqueness, and specific solutions are available. It is our duty as well as responsibility to look into what is happening across us. The keen observation and specific solutions for a problem may definitely help for the problems of the research. That is what, and using tools, how best we can utilize and leverage it, and how best solutions we can develop it, that is in a researcher hand. And it is fundamentally about how we get the input from your professors or supervisors or committee members in the research organization. This is with reference to research. Similarly, in legal domain also, there is a bar and bench. Even judges used to ask so many questions to the lawyers, expert lawyers, even from citations before going for the judge. That means it is also like very specific solution for a problem, so that it should not accelerate the problems. It should diminish the problems. That is what the people do.
Let me prompt a question to Dr. Naganan. Having listened to his answer, how can a supervisor encourage responsible use of AI for his scholar? Responsible. How a researcher should do.
Yeah, I think research scholar, research supervisors are experienced people. I think they all know about moralities, ethics, responsibilities, everything are there inbuilt, so that they know it very well. I think, in my perspective, they will definitely guide the what morality you need to follow, what ethics you need to follow. That's why for human research, for biomedical engineering research, for interdisciplinary research, there is a committee called Ethical Clearance Committee. Whether this research is harmful to the society or harmful to the people or harmful to anyone, whether it is permitted or not. If it is not, then they reject it. Right away they reject it.
What's your take on that? Murali?
I think malicious and willful misconduct during research is going beyond the sort of the capabilities of a research supervisor or a journal editor or a paper reviewer for that matter. I think time is come for us to equip ourselves to basically identify disclosure and telling that I am not willfully conducted and asking them to sign something. It's one step. For example, when you're submitting a paper, you have to agree that I am not conducted any fraud in generating data, analysis, etc. But the main thing that I want to cover here is that you may be a student, you may be a faculty, you may be a journal editor. If some fraud is conducted and you are actually claiming innocence of not knowing that, right, that is a lie. Most of the journal reviewers, right, who actually have handled fraud, if you ask them, do you think the writer knew this before? 100% of them are telling that this is willful and they have done it wantonly and there is no way this has happened accidentally. Meaning the guy who is committing fraud is committing knowing that it is fraud. You as a research supervisor have gotten such a student, right? I am 100% sure you need tools, you need to figure what exactly it is. But if the fraud is identified, there is no way a student can actually claim innocence of it because it is done what? Like people are asking questions about 10% cloud or 5% chat GPT, etc. Do you think the student is doing the same that I didn't know this came from chat GPT? I didn't know this came from cloud. Not claiming innocence. That is actually trying to escape.
Murali, they have any tool to check that also? AI tool.
Yeah, there is actually some savings available on Twitter, and you could simply text it to that handle, and it will tell you if it is AI related or not. So there are agents available for bots.
Okay. I invite Dr. Muthu to take this question. Do you think the universities should formulate AI policies so that they can curtail all the unethical practice? What is your opinion on that?
again, the preamble to that is in the past we had very few universities. Today there are universities that are springing every now and here, and one of the necessity qualification for a university is that you should have your own research wing and you should be able to produce that many articles and publications and research work. Having said that, to bring in a policy, first let us be more practical and say, if a university is set up, I mean, I will borrow from my dear friend Dr. Mulli's research, not all universities can become research oriented, and not all universities can become a degree according university or the other way around, and not all of them can become a TPS. They all have a quality, and if they want to shift from one to another, it's going to take a time. It's a slow, time, deliberated, focused, concerted effort to create. Giving this as the backdrop of my answer, no matter how many formulations and policies are done, while I think while going for lunch, I think we had a very small talk where we said, publish or perish. If that is the rule for all the researchers, no amount of policy will save us from means and mechanisms to use AI. Because research takes at least in IIC, I have not known a person who finished in years. Very difficult. A research, a PhD takes at least 4.5, 5 years.
5 years.
I took 6 years. I have the past, that is 4 research.
Then Muthu, I'll have one more question to you only. I'm going to ask. Can they include their virus questions for AI usage question? No, virus.
Okay, now this is going back to the point that if the person who is in the panel, we call it the evaluators, right? If they are people in this domain, they can easily catch you. And when they question you, you are blocked. Now, can you find such evaluators? How many of them are there? If the evaluator himself is unsure, I would easily give a pass and say, if he is counter question, I haven't gone, but okay, this must be good. How good is the evaluator to evaluate?
You mean to say they need to conduct one more FDP for them? How to evaluate the people in the
I have something to discuss. With respect to this, our Vishweshwara Technological University has taken to overcome the content of the plagiarism, it should be less than 10%, and AI content is also should be less than 10%. That means no 10% plagiarism within that. 10% separately. If you give it for a derivative or Turnitin, it gives the content of the paper, how much is plagiarism content and how much is the AI content. So even the journals, they have made mandatory that you are supposed to write it on your own. Research paper should be written on your own. So they don't accept. Okay, unless until you write on your own. And one more question, you told that whether we need to reflect the AI, the tool used. Okay, you can definitely write in the paper that I have used so and so tool. And the algorithm, basic step, we need to write in the paper. Nothing wrong. Because our paper is going to be referred by these other researchers and they improve based on that algorithm. That is what research. Research is nothing but it is adding a drop of water to the sea. We will not become an Einstein. Okay, adding something new, a drop, into the existing research is our research. We cannot completely find new thing. It is not possible. And sir, one more thing. Why we are insisting on faculty member to do submit paper and get one paper in a year? That the MHRD itself creating that, not we college policymakers are creating. It is created by the top of the country people, MHRD. There will be no human brains are there, I don't know. they are compelling us. You need to publish. If you want NRF, it should be they are making a production house.
Only you were
It is not- Nowadays, research is not becoming a research, it is becoming a production site. And these itself are studying blocks of you.
Yeah. After
Yeah. People who are sitting at the top level in the government.
all the 3 years from the bigger institute, done your PhD. Can you give one tip to all the researchers, right? How to make a good paper which is genuine using AI? Maybe one more tip from each one of you. Using AI, there should be originality, transparency, and that manuscript should be accepted by all the publishers. Maybe ABDC or whatever, Scopus, Q1, Q2, Web of Science.
It's actually a slightly difficult thing to do because if you are so curious and you have decided to do research and actually find some new truth in an area or a phenomena or one thing that quickly, right? The context length that you are told is much beyond the context length that you can, give to a current, prompt, for example. It is much more than that. You are adding 10 papers, 20 papers, 100 papers, whatever. More. So the context length is becoming a first problem. The second thing is what we have found with your own effort to be able to express it in a coherent manner, right? And this decay, is very much visible with respect to the AI outputs at this point in time. For example, we want to just do say 3 paragraph, 4 paragraph, it will probably hold the coherence cleanly. But if that manuscript is going towards say 100,000 words, then the coherence is actually going to get decayed over a period of time. If you are really a genuine researcher and you are using AI to write this, that conceptual continuity and coherence is something that you are to hold for yourself and help AI to sort of get you some speed. And some of the in-between bridges, of course, from a conceptual perspective, something that you still have to do. And if there are additional experiments that you have to do, has to be done. If there are sensitivity checks that you have to do on what is coming out as truth from the result, it's something that you have to do. So the AI does not do 2 things. One, it absolutely has no idea of what it is generating as a real world consequence or not. It does not know if there is a consequence and who needs to take that action. You as a researcher know your action, the consequence of it. If they did not take that action, what is the consequence? Something that you understand as a researcher. This is not available at this point in time. Models. Consequence of action is going to come probably with word and stuff like that. But at this point in time, it is not there in AI, and that role remains with the researcher.
Only you mean to say original. In one word, focus on originality. Don't borrow anything from someone else's work. Focus on originality. Yeah, Mr. Muthu. And I will come to audience questions. Yeah.
So certainly you should understand there is a subject matter that you are trying to research. Do not swear away from it. No amount of other noise. I call it noise. AI is a noise. It may give you this. Don't focus on this. The trends are there. If you are sufficiently convinced and have the conviction to research in an area, thinking this is where I need to focus and work, do a very systematic, deliberate research. The outcome research, follow all the methodologies which are detailed for that many years. The purpose, there's one thing that in economics is essential purpose, that other conditions remain same, constant. So if you are producing a research, any other researcher using the same method and data set should be able to reproduce your result, given that you are given all the detail. If not, it is not a proper research. First, so that means you have done a thorough research, done all the sensitivity tests and validations, data validation, and not tampering, avoid biases, all of it. The only place, the question was, with AI, what can I do for research? The only place I have been able to use AI is my English construct and description is very lengthy, and sometimes it's very confusing for the audience. He cannot comprehend what I'm going to say. My sentence run into 4 or 5 lines, one sentence, which my own professor used to.
Miracle. It's called as miracle.
Because I completely lost thought. You can't make such big sentences. I mean, that's how I talk, that's how I am. But if I have to make it contextualized to people, the only thing that I used was, I don't know if most of you are using, it's called as grammar. It helps you in writing. I'm not a native English speaker, and sometimes my grammar also can be miserably bad. So I've used only this Grammarly to communicate my finding in understandable. I myself have been amazed with Grammarly and say, wow, such a nice grammar, such a tool. Because for me, when I read it, I think it's more understandable.
Although, even let us listen from Modi also. Yeah,
I have 2 stories on
please.
Grammarly. I'm allowed to say this. So Grammarly was a separate company, and they were trying to distribute through Microsoft Word as a plugin. And Grammarly was available as a service outside also. And over a period, what happened was Microsoft started learning how Grammarly was correcting text and trying to input that into their own grammar check, which Grammarly figured out and started culling features from the Microsoft Word plugin and left many of the features in the online thing. So this is clearly one of the largest corporations that has made enough money from Office to trying to steal from a startup just because our man coming from IP.
Whatever Google, when we start writing the mail.
So second story is also very interesting. There is a developer in Google who actually started collecting spelling mistakes, and there was enough thesaurus and dictionary available internally to Google. Everybody was saying that what is the point? You was trying to make a dictionary of how people make spelling mistakes. So when they actually figured that if they are able to deploy it at Google search scale level, even if a person types wrongly some spelling, it is able to become a big product at Google search level. So in a sense, you think, oh, distributing through Microsoft is the right thing to do. Developing a wrong spelling, this thing as a engine is the bad thing to do. You never know how it is going to turn out to be. And to figure that out and to live through that consequence is the fun of research. That is important that we have done.
True. What Naganand says, his perspective, quickly, for 1 minute.
Actually, when anyone, I think most of you already started research. We are researchers here. When we start research, we are just jumping into the question. ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಬಿಗ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಸಮ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಟು ಇಟ್. But when we go for synopsis, that they used to streamline it, like these objectives, some 4 or 5 objectives, depending on the availability of the facility in your environment. Identify, streamline your objectives, and accordingly do a lot of experimentation, become expertise, use tools for avoiding all your repetitive tasks. Then English and other things, that is also laborious work. Assigning to the AI and other tools, be intelligent and expert enough to represent your knowledge in a problem. And define your problem precisely and work for it and become an expert. That is the one line.
To summarize, Muli was speaking about originality. Use it to augment your work, not to replace your work, and use it in the right place. That's what Naganand answer is. Probably that is the right combination. The present day-one researcher has to remember and follow the footsteps. Now let us move on to audience. Please raise the hand. Audience can ask the questions. Yes, madam. Can someone help to pass the mic? Yeah, please.
A lot of research is happening in AI, and what we find is AI is doing something which human can do by taking a long time, that AI is doing within a short time perfectly. But there is something that we are lagging behind. For example, in health sector, why can't we change the direction of research in AI more into health sector than taking away the jobs of human beings? Because now even our Gen Zs are worried about whether they'll get a good job. We have specializations in our institutions. BCA with AI/ML or engineering AI/ML and all that. But are we really doing the upskilling which is required for the industry? Today morning, when Dr. Muthu sir said about his company, and then he was just mentioning he didn't find the right candidate for his company. Therefore, what kind of skills the companies need, and company in association with this one, Narayana Netralaya, some doctors, they released a spectacle where blind people can take the help of that spectacles, and it is not giving them the actual vision, but it is giving them the real assistance. So I think instead of using AI for replacing what we can do, why we need a self-driving car, why we want to trouble the job of a driver. Okay, why do we want to do that? It should be for the luxury of human beings. It should be for the, for humankind, is it? Okay, it should not be for troubling human beings, because this is also an invention. This is also a discovery of invention, whatever it is by human beings. My question is why we are not spending quality time to direct AI in the field of health sector?
I invite Muthu to answer.
Yeah.
Madam, I can see what you have and what an AI doesn't. Emotions, empathy. AI doesn't have. AI is driven by market forces. Tomorrow, if you are willing to say, I'm pouring in 100 million to start off with, research to take on alchemist, these things, I'll tell you there are people who will start. It's called market forces. He may say we are good, all that is fine. This is market force. I cannot. And to answer to your point, is AI being used in research in these medical areas? That is one of the biggest areas of consumption. AI is heavily used in medical research. Fortunately or unfortunately, to be saying that, you cannot completely rely on AI, because you and me may look anatomically, every which way, thinking, talking the same, but each of us are so unique that differentiation AI cannot build up.
Now, to add to Muthu's words, there was a serial producer, Dilip, who passed away due to heart attack. He was wearing a smartwatch. It was not showing him the heart problem. He was using the technology, but it was unable to identify. And he was blocked due to that. That's what I read.
So is that a research gap, sir? Then? Definitely, it is a research gap.
Now, I was
Are you
going
willing to pay that 100? Are you willing to fund that 100 billion in the question?
Sir, there are
Our Murli's
No.
company may start working on it.
actually, Murli, when I was
it will be a collaborative effort, because we need people from medical field, we need fundraisers, and then we technical team, it is a collaborative work, and then it takes a lot of time, but I feel like we are not spending quality time for that.
So we're willing, if you have 100 million on the table, Murli will take it.
you have two VCs here. You can always watch. They will watch your idea if it is good.
I was just saying, if somebody is watching that idea and if somebody is able to do something in that field, I'll be so grateful because it is very much needed.
Yeah, actually, Yeah.
What is your opinion?
The difference between you actually having that motive versus a venture having that motive versus a, where investor having that motive is completely different. And in fact, if it was such a national level priority, why is it not even prioritizing ANR? So exactly the point. So it is not just you. There are millions like you. They're not being represented and decisions are not being heard in the places where the capital allocations are. That is something that we could potentially change. And that is at the max. What is it that we can represent? We can give the reasons. But who is interested in that? Maybe somebody will be. Maybe the bureaucrat will actually say. Maybe
Yeah, the policy makers can help us out.
But just this form of question, whatever response that we give it, is not going to change anything. Anything. There is
Yeah,
no need.
at least people are watching and somewhere it's, some changes happening that will be great. No?
Madam,
There's a researcher talking, an entrepreneur will say, I'm interested as well as 100 million in the deal. I will go with
Not incentives.
So answer, sir.
I-
I'll not on important.
I think I asked a fantastic question.
Sir, to answer to the question, madam, I think you know that, or you may not know it, entire world is working for health domain. And almost all engineers, irrespective of their branches, electrical, electronic, whatever it may be, they are all working for the solutions of health issues. Okay, you may get artificial eyes, artificial heart, artificial brain, everything. Everything is possible as their entrepreneurs rightly say, it is only about money. If you fund it, if government fund, even I think you may know it or not, our Prime Minister of our country is readying the mother and child. Any problems are there, we will fund crores of rupees. But who is doing the research? See, research is not easy, not fun. It is a laborious work. Someone should put lot of efforts, lot of labor work is required, lot of attention, concentration, dedication is required. And one product is come out of that research, then it will mint the money, crores of rupees. Okay. So for all disorders, all problems, there are numerous solutions are there. And so many companies are working extensively for developing products and developing patents. And they are making business out of it and they are making huge money out of it. I think you may not get right. Technology support is available across the globe. You get it and you need to pay for it. That's it. Thank you.
There is one boy who's from India, who's in US now, 14-year-old boy. He has came up with a AI called circadian AI. You can check in the Google, you are going to get it. That AI you can install on your phone. You can keep that on your heart. That is able to identify 14 different kinds of heart diseases. A 14-year-old boy. No one is stopping. You can explore. You can check. You can give it to the world. Actually, I have done it. Yeah. Yes, please. Have a listen to any other questions from the audience? Yeah. We'll conclude this panel discussion with any questions from the audience? Audience want to wind up the session. Is it so? Any questions? Yeah, Pratap sir, please. No question? Yeah, actually, madam, that one boy here was able to collect the data about 40 heart ailments. He has created the repository. Now, if you are going to keep the phone close to the heart, it's a 14-year-old boy, and it is going to identify 14 kinds of heart problems by holding your phone. Yes, sir.
Sir, my question is very simple. Should we normalize the use of AI by students?
Normally. Okay. When it comes to students, my take is, I think, were you there in Dr. Murli's session? We had 3 cases. Pro AI, anti-AI, no AI. My take is no AI. The reason being is it's a formative age. Kids are just growing. You don't need to give them any assistant. What assistant do you need? When I was a student, when my parents were asking me and literally beating me to memorize the tables, I said, why should I have a calculator? If not, I can pull out the book when I have. I don't know how many of you had this thought. Right? When you have this thought, but today I'm happy that I didn't take, or As a child, I want to be lazy. I said I didn't want to study. But now, as I've grown up, I know how important that is. If you give assistance now, what is the child otherwise doing? Video games? Watching unnecessary web series or all friends and all rubbish? What quality are we building into the child? Okay, so I also, like I told you, right? I conduct 2 sessions, 2 courses in a different, one is Mane and another is Manipa. Each one of them get a question which is so different. They cannot copy. And I say, I need citations and I want you to present. You want to make use of AI? Come, I will find out. And when you present, I will question you. We do not have patience. Like that's what I say. And the other faculty says, sir, you're doing this for 40 students. Others are asking, I can't do it. And I say, if the student has to do it, teach them that way or don't teach them. Do you think any of us as teachers have any value in today's world? They'll say, what are you going to teach me? I have MOOC courses like Coursera, Udemy. We are totally irrelevant in today's teaching scenario. Teach them something that cannot teach. Basics. That the AI or all that context cannot teach. Madam was asking about what is the skill. People with AI, they come, sir, do you have anything? First thing they come and say, sir, you have anything in AI? I want to work on it. I have this sensor. You have to convert the sensor as a model and give me output. I want an AI model, mathematical model for the sensor. He looks at the sensor. He says, what sensor is this? He doesn't know what sensor does. Doesn't know how a sensor works. Then he spends 1 week trying to figure it out. He puts it all on AI, taking picture. Then he says, isn't that sensor? Is it? I said, okay. Okay, he said, that's the data. I said, if I have to give the data, you passing it to a standard model on the internet, why should I hire you? Can I not do that? He said, ask me to give you the data. And I said, okay, I'll give you data. What for? It's a data format, sir.
Actually, what happens is, like when the students, they depend upon AI so much, it is affecting their critical thinking skills, their problem solving skills and all. We all learn in school days like how to write formal and informal letters. We know the pattern. Now, for a student, like sometimes the students will be very common to writing apology letters and not when they are part of the institution, one or the other small disciplinary issue. But for that also, we can see wonderful letters. We'll be wondering, like, if this person has never spoken like this, like such wonderful language, from where this is coming. Okay, that vocabulary. They are not thinking. And what happens is, it is reducing their productivity.
You have an answer. Either teach them the right way or don't even teach them.
Yeah, it is like exactly, I don't know which resource person said this. I think, sir, you only said about this. See, we have, everybody has the right to smoke and drink, is it? Who has to control? We ourselves should control. If a policy comes, if government is saying, if government is coming up with something like, no one should smoke or drink. Therefore, that smoking, drinking, we can just take AI also in that level. So, how we have to use, where we have to use, what we have to use, whether we have to use it or not, that is up to each person. I don't think a policy is required for that. It depends upon each person. I think we should be having that, students also. Morning, yesterday during the inaugural function, Kishore sir was mentioning about this. One student came with a wonderful project, our chief guest, okay? And then, he showed that wonderful project as part of this interview and all. Then sir just asked him to write a small Python program. Nothing. Okay?
Any more questions?
Yeah, that's it.
Audience? Any questions? Yes. To summarize this panel discussion, the first point I would like to add, AI should document, not replace, especially the critical thinking. It is to document us, and we should think in the same direction as we have discussed until now. Second one is transparency. Transparency about AI use is becoming essential. To be transparent. How much is original, how much we have copied from the Grammarly or whatever, not much there. The third point I would like to add on here is research integrity remains the responsibility of the researcher. It is not the guide, it is the researcher. It is your responsibility to make sure that where you are using AI, how much you are using AI without disturbing the originality. The original contribution should be there. Only should this AI should augment the space of your work. With this, the permission of the convener, can I conclude, sir? Analysis. As we conclude this discussion, one message stands out clearly. AI is transforming research in an unprecedented pace, but integrity, curiosity, and critical thinking remain uniquely human responsibilities. I repeat, integrity, curiosity, critical thinking remain uniquely human responsibilities. We should make sure that these three are there in our research. Today's discussion has reminded us that AI should not replace researchers. It should empower them to ask better questions, analyze more deeply, and contribute knowledge responsibly. On behalf of organizing committee of 10x RAR, Research Acceleration and Revolutions, I express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Murali Loganathan, in his absence here, Dr. DPK Muthukumaraswamy for sharing expertise, insights, and practical guidance. I also thank all the participants for their thoughtful engagement and active participation. Let us embrace AI with wisdom, uphold the highest standards of academic integrity, and work together to build a future where innovation and ethics go hand in hand. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Thanks.
It's my privilege to express my gratitude to two distinguished panelists, Dr. D.P. Muthukumaraswamy sir and Dr. Murali Loganathan sir. Really, you have shared very insightful thoughts related to AI in research on behalf of Amrita Institute of Engineering and Management Sciences. We will be very grateful to you, sir. Really, it was a very wonderful panel discussion. Also, I extend my sincere gratitude panel discussion successfully. Thank you both, sir. Also, I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Prabhavati, IPR consultant and expert, Vishveshwaraya Trade Promotion Center, Government of Karnataka, who made us to connect with this both panelists who have taken part in this session. We are very grateful to you, ma'am. Introduce him to the crowd. Professor Shreyas Shivaranjappa is an accomplished educator, session academician, technology mentor, researcher, and consultant in the domain of artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. Currently, he is serving as the head of the Department of Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning at Amrita Institute of Engineering and Management Sciences under the Vishveshwaraya Technological University. He leads a team of faculty and students to deliver future-focused AI and ML programs aligned with industry demands. With a strong commitment to bridging academia and industry, Professor Shreyas has actively spearheaded consultancy projects for industries in the areas of artificial intelligence, automation, and machine learning applications. His consultancy initiatives focus on solving real-world business challenges through AI-based solutions, providing valuable industry exposure for faculty and students. Professor Shreyas' early academic contributions include designing specialized BCA programs in IoT, cloud computing, and data science at Cresta School of Management Science and Arts College, Mysuru, which were approved by the University of Mysuru. His academic vision emphasizes curriculum innovation, interdisciplinary learning, and integrating modern tools into the teaching process. He is also the founder of Soft Minds Technologies India Private Limited, a startup that delivers digital solutions, automation, and academic project support of engineering students. In addition to his entrepreneurial and academic journey, he is a research scholar at IIIT Gwalior, specializing in the field of secure blockchain transactions. He has been nominated as a trainer for the HAL Overhaul Division for implementing AI and serves as an expert panel member for Indian academic readiness to host blockchain technologies. Professor Shreyas has trained and mentored over 20,000 students, focusing on skills that match industry needs. A recipient of the Best Technical Educator Award in Times Business Awards 2021 and an Asian Games level kickboxing athlete, he brings a rare combination of leadership, discipline, and forward-thinking innovation to the education ecosystem. And I take this opportunity to welcome you for this session, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah, I know it's a very difficult time to have the conversation. That's why we have come up with a very simple session. We have all used this one, but I'm trying to structure this one in a different way in this particular session. So I just wanted to have a conversation in the discussion panel while concluding it. Okay, so I'll just use this session. So even I have few conclusions with respect to whatever that you had the discussion in the previous panel. So see, I straight away jump into a very simple question. How many of you used ChatGPT or Claude in last 1 week? We all use, right? Everyone. So the next question goes in a slightly different way. How many of you will be able to get the right output in your first time? Please raise it. No hands. So everyone is using the ChatGPT or Claude, but my next question is how many of you were able to get the proper right result whichever that you needed in your first prompt? I can see only one hand over. So this entire session is about bridging this. Okay, so we are talking about, yeah, AI can do anything, but you should know how to use it, right? The tool has to be used in a proper way. So the entire session, I'll be teaching you the very simple structuring the prompt that you are giving. So before we begin with, what do you mean by a prompt? Where does the name came from? So everything has an origination, right? So we call it as a query somewhere, we call it as a coding somewhere, programming somewhere, and where exactly this prompting came? Any idea? We have used this prompting. See, yes, prompt. See, there should be an origination of the name, right? See? Exactly. So, have you been in the theaters? When the play is going on, when the characters are on the main stage, there's a person sits next to the closed window, holding the entire script. When the character forgets something on the stage, he'll announce or he'll just start talking about first few words so that it will help the character to pick the rest of the things. This is exactly the science and the name. This is where the prompting is originated. Okay, so I'll tell you how exactly these two relate in my next slide. Okay, how these two can relate. So this is what the things that I am covering today. So I have two hands-on sessions. You have to use your phones and it's not just listening. And we are trying to do something with those two sessions. So I'll just start with the fundamental elements. Then I'll talk about the core techniques. Then the first hands-on session that we'll be doing. You can use your phone. Till then you can download the cloud if you don't have, or you can use the web browser as well. So then we'll talk about the advanced technique and we'll learn that one as well in the advanced technique. So and then the last one is when you're using the AI, we have to talk about the ethics. If we don't talk about the ethics, you know what exactly that will be going to happen and we'll be finishing. Very simple session. Only thing is, we are doing whatever. See, our real life problem. Right? This is a real life problem, right? Every single day, either we have to work on question papers, either we have to work on rubrics, defining the pattern, or we are doing a lesson plan, or we are getting the feedback from the students. So I have taken this case study. By the end of the session, we'll be designing one of this, not like before, completely error-free, hopefully up to the 90%, and matches the institution format as well. So that is what the conclusion, the takeaway. By the end of the session, we will be able to design. You have to pick one by the last, and we are designing. Done? Fair enough? How many of you used your Claude for all these things? Have you used for building the question paper? Yes, we have done. Rubrics. If not, we'll do that one. Lesson plan. Right from picking the date till concluding it. No, right? We'll do that one. Yes, I can see one hand over there. Student feedback is also one of the things that bothers us every single day, right? So, now we'll see how exactly the prompt works. So, when we see the AI, we call about the data abstraction where all the complex working procedure has been added and it has given only the prompt phase for us. See, think about this. How does it work? First, we'll give the prompt. What it will do? It will read your prompt. Then, it will predict the likely keywords. See, I'll tell you here. So, exactly that how the name originates, I'll connect that one over there. So, it says no true memory. Output quality is equal to the input quality. Let me explain this. Try to understand. See, I'll tell you an interesting fact. GPT-3, we are not aware of it, right? So it was launched in 2020. GPT-3 was launched in 2020, and in the year 2020, GPT-3 was trained on 45 terabytes of data. What is it? You're not able to imagine, right? I'll get you. I can make you I can give you a precise that you can relate. See, think about if you read for 24 hours a day. If you read for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year, like this, if you continuously read for 3,40,000 years, how many years? 3,40,000 years, you can finish that. So much of text has been trained on GPT. So it is literally thousands of lifetime, right? Lakhs together of lifetime data has been fed into this particular system. Even then, when I say, see, my words are contradicting, right? I said it has content of 3,40,000 years of data, and I put here as there is no true memory. So, see, now I'll go back and tell you. So it reads the prompts and predicts likely words. Think about this. Imagine the same drama. The prompter is sitting over there. The character forgets the script. Prompter will tell you first 2 lines where this particular character will pick the entire script from there and finish it off. That is exactly how the AI works. It will not predict, search and do it. It will finish the sentence what you have started as a prompt. So every new chat that you open will start from 0 without any memory word. So think about this. In the previous chat, you spoke about preparing a question paper. You open a new prompt, and if you try continuing, it will give you stupid answers. You blame the system. It is not the system. It is our understanding of system is completely different. So whenever that you open a new chat, that means entire memory, whatever that you have done is done, gone. So it cannot read from its previous outputs. It cannot read from whatever the previous output that has been generated. It cannot read it back and understand it and put it to works in the next whatever that the output that you are requesting. So now the output quality depends perfectly on what you have prompted, not on the what exactly the AI knows. See, we are talking about, when the other panel discussion was going on, so they were talking about the AI is not customized, right? So everybody thinks about, will we end up with respect to the same output? No, definitely not. So I'll not agree at least. So I'll not agree at least with respect to those many points. So you can get a better output with a better input quality. So now we will talk about how to improvise the quality of the prompt, what we used to need all these things. Fine with this? See, are you okay with this particular thing? Yes. So now I'll give you the anatomy of a good prompt. So I'll give you a set of letters. It says like T, C, C, F, E. What it is? So whenever you write your prompt, you should make sure that these many elements should be there in your prompt. The first one is you should assign the task. At the first, you have to do this one in the proper format itself. You can think about this as a proper flow where can give you a better result. So always start by assigning a task to one. Whether you work with a cloud or whether you work with GPT, first assign the task. After once you assign the task, I'll take an example. In the next lecture, I'll take an example. First assign the task. Once you assign the task, set the context. What exactly? See, think about that. If at all I want you to prepare a question paper, and then you, what's the task? Never say help. Never say help me to prepare. These are the wrong words that you can use it in prompt. See, I can give you a same example. So it happened between me and him. We were driving in our car. He asked the Alexa, please play a song. I told him I'm paid completely, sir. Ask her to play, she'll play. Do you remember, sir? So, no please, no help, just assign a task. First thing is, after assigning a task, think of what I asked him to prepare 30 questions or 20 questions, something like that. Then I have to set a proper context. What exactly that you need? See, prepare 10 questions in data structure is very generic question. So I need to mention the subject and then subject code if you have which university it belongs to. If not, add a syllabus copy as well. That is much more easy to set the context over there. Okay, I'll show you that one in the next slide. I'll tell you. Context is what exactly, from where exactly the source, what exactly that you're trying to do is what you need to explain. Then constraint. Constraint is limitation, what not to do. What is the area of operation? Where exactly you need to act? That is also we need to define. Okay, then comes what is the output format that you need. Whether you need an Excel sheet, whether you need a PDF, whether you need a table, what picture, you need to mention it properly and conclude it with examples. So examples will come and explain you the later part. Examples are different types of examples. I'll take it in a lighter note. First, we'll try to understand task, context, constraints, and the format with a very simple example like how we use it in a day-to-day. So just read this one, take your time and read these two prompts. See, the first one is a very generic prompt. Might be we have used with the beginning of the learning with respect to AI. What is this? Make a quiz of data structure. Right? So it is very generic. Does it have task? No, it doesn't have a task. Constraints? No constraint. Context? Have not set the context. Format? Have not set the format. So, Adit, look at the second one. It is very clearly, I have assigned the task. What is the task? Create 10 questions. Create 10 question quiz. That's the task. What is the context? On data, on stacks and queues for third semester, CSE, VTUs, I have mentioned the subject code over there. What is this? What is this? Context. Context. I have mentioned the context. And then, what is the next one? What is the next thing? Constraints. Setting the constraints over there. What are the constraints? 6 MCQs, each with 1 mark. 4 short answers with 2 marks. And what exactly it should do? It should match the Bloom's taxonomy. What is the range? It cannot, I am not giving him a space over there. I am restricting it. You should only select the question from L1 to L3. So then, I am not intending over there. After the constraint, what I need to mention as a format, I have format as well. What's the format? I need the output in the table form. Right? So this is a clear distinguish between a generic, very simple prompt to a structured prompt. Okay, so this particular prompt has all the basic necessities which should be there for you to make the AI work in a better possible way and give you a best possible result. So I've still not gone for the example part. I'll take it easily. So, any questions here? Yes. So, see, think about wherever that you set a limit, that's a constraint. So, you can even increase from 1 to, or else you can set from higher, if at all you are setting the question paper for the PG, you can set it from L3 to L6 as well. So, that is the constraint. What exactly the limit? Limits are constraints. Okay, I'm not giving you a scope to think all by themselves. I'm restricting it. Every restriction is a constraint. Okay, clear this? Yes. So, now we'll get into the core techniques where we'll talk about how do we add examples over there with respect to whatever we the prompting. See, now think about this. You newly joined to a college. You come to the college. As soon as you think about you come in the semester end, as soon as you come over there, the results will be out. I'll tell you to prepare the result analysis. I'm not giving you anything. Straight away you came, first day I told you to prepare result analysis. Will you be able to do it? Yes, you'll be doing it. But you have scope to think like whatever that you want. You use your own format, you use your own methodology. Everything will be by your own. By the end, you'll prepare it, but I'll not leave it. Why? It is only your complete scope for thinking whatever that you want, and you prepare the result analysis. But at the end, I'll not be happy with respect to your performance. What I can do instead? Instead, I can give you 2 or 3 previous result analysis sheet, and I can tell you to match the same thing, right? That exactly you should be doing with respect to the Claude as well. So zero shot and few shot is exact. These are the example categories. In the example, if you are not giving any example and ask the ChatGPT to generate everything all by themselves, that is what we call it as a zero shot. When we give 2 or 3 examples, this is exactly that you need to match. Even the question, see, don't explain anything. Just give 4 questions as an example and ask prepare the similar kind of questions with the same difficulty next question. It will understand the difficulty, pattern, everything, and will generate the same kind of question. So that is where we call it as few shots. That is where, see, it is not only restricted to the examples. Think about it. We have dedicated lesson plan in our organization, right? Give it the format of lesson plan. Ask it to generate the lesson plan. Then you'll get the lesson plan in our own college form. It does not have a scope of thinking. You can limit his thinking and development capacities and capabilities. Are we okay with this? So whenever that you are preparing a question and want complete customization, you want the ChatGPT to generate the questions like how you think. Write 4 questions all by yourself. Then it will understand your tone, understand your level of asking the question, generate the questions in your own format. So that is why you can generate in the customization format. So this is with respect to the examples that we are talking. And then this is also interesting. See, so the persona prompting. Think about this. Before getting into this, I want to tell you a very a fact. It was being done by the Stanford University. The research was done in 2023. See, a simple generic prompt was written to diagnose a disease. Simple generic prompt was done to diagnose a disease, and the same AI tool gave 57% accuracy in detecting the disease. What is the percentage? 57%. When assigned the role, same machine, same data set, nothing changed. It gave 93% accuracy in the results. Just the persona, look at the same system working with respect to a completely different thing. See, same generic question, same data set, everything was same, nothing changed. it was not assigned a role. In the text prompt, it was assigned the role of expert diagnostic doctor, then the accuracy was increased to 93. Where is 57 and where is 93? It is almost 40% difference, right? It is a huge difference when we talk about whenever that we are doing research. Think about, read the first one. So I am assigning a role. See, I am taking the context of whatever that we are doing daily. So that is why my questions are always running across our classrooms. Think about, I am assigned a role. Act as a strict video external examiner. That's a role. Whenever I use this prompt, think about the AI machine is an expert that has read every single thing that is available on the private network, every single research document that has recently launched, every new textbook that has been there, cited over there on the internet, and every conversation that happens across the globe. It has heard everything. It has heard everything. Whenever that you say external examiner, it will recollect every conversation that happens between the VTO and the examination, every single documentation that has read. So it already has the context now. So now the tone, the strict, everything, you don't need to reply. You already assigned a role over there. So it is much more easier to work with respect to the prompting. That whenever that you are using many of your medical reports to scan through Claude or GPT, please assign a role first. Just check yourself. Upload your blood report. Ask with a simple query and assign a role. Give a persona for it and then ask for the diagnosis. You can see the difference over there. That is what the difference that we are trying to address in today's session. Understand? So this is what the persona and output form. See, that is what the persona will do. The output format is, see, you can define and decide how exactly the output can be. Okay, in whichever the format, and even you can restrict the number of words in each of the columns that you can do. See, I have written over there. See, I need the question, course outcome, Bloom's taxonomy, marks. This is how our question paper will look like. I have added our question paper format. The first, what we have the question number, followed by the CO, followed by the Bloom's taxonomy level, and at the last we have the maximum word. And I am even restricting the word limit to 150, so that the output will not exceed any of the format that you have mentioned over there, so that there is no need for you to rework on whatever that is already generated. That's so. Yes, ma'am.
We have students also.
Yes.
We such a prompt to create the question paper. Student also is giving similar prompt.
But from the beginning itself, I am telling you, even you people can sit together, use the same prompt, and you'll not get the same. Then even if they use the same question, they'll not be able to get the same question that is displayed on your system. Yes, see, I told you, that is where the prompting will start. See, at that particular time, whatever the expert field the questions are with respect to this, those are the questions that will be displayed on your screen. So your output will not be known to your next chapter. How can the same? See, every output is generated. It is not clicking and posting it. Okay, newly generated output is what you see on the screen. The students will, your next chat will not be knowing what exactly the previous chat will be the question. So you don't need to worry about that particular constraints. Okay, see, that is what the general worries that we always have. So you don't need to worry. Thank you, sir. You don't need to worry that students will not, with the same prompt, the students will not be able to get the same level of questions. Okay, so now, your task, open your notes with the clock. No taking photos, opening the phone, putting the prompt there in the clock, and telling me what exactly the results that you are getting. See, pick a subject, whatever that the subject that you are teaching, pick a subject. If you have a syllabus copy, that will be much more much more helpful. It's okay. It's okay. You can work in pairs as well. So that is you can save so much of energy in the world, right? So AI is wasting so much. Yes, yes, yes. That's the biggest concern. The world is running around and we don't know where we end. Pick a subject, define what you want to work with respect to something. So, what you can do this one while having the team. You can have the team, finish the task, come back. You can carry your phone, have a tea now. Tea. I can give you a tea break. While coming back, you should have your answers. Please have your tea and come back. Madam, nobody is ready to go for a tea. I'll continue then. Please have your tea. Please. Yeah. You can work that itself. Finish it off. Have a cup of tea. Come back. questions that was being generated at you. So you can do the experiment. That is why, and you can use the same prompt. People sitting next to each other use the same prompt and see the results that are in your phone. Then you have the confidence enough to showcase the questions in your examination. I've done it. I've got different questions. That is why I've put it over there on the screen for you to explain. Now, so after this, we'll go to the advanced technique. So this is whatever that we spoke about is a very fundamental, framing the questions and getting the results. So then we'll go to the next part where solving the real life problem plays a role over. How do we solve it? See, the first kind of thing or task what they talk about is the chain of thoughts. See, I'm very bad at remembering the names, that's why I'm referring it. The chain of thought prompting was discovered accidentally in the year 2022 by a Google research scholar called as Jason Webb. Okay, it was, see, this particular method of prompting was detected in 2022 by a Google research scholar where he was trying to solve a mathematical problem and every single time the system used to fail. Okay, he was trying to solve a mathematical problem and the system used to fail. When he accidentally into a small pieces. That is what the problem solving methodology we all speak about. So he wrote a prompt, think stepwise, and a complete dramatical change happened over there. So whatever the problem that machine was unable to fail, not in the marginal errors, dramatically failing, that particular problem was solved. So they was shocked because system was not designed. The system generated this particular methodology all by themselves. And then they tried the same method on multiple mathematical problems and they reassured the chain of thought process. One. So, see, you have a question paper. Instead of asking generate answer for these 5 questions, the answers will be very generic and does not even meet the Bloom's taxonomy or themes over there. Instead of asking the direct question, think about this. This is where, what is the technique? Chain of thoughts. That means you need to break it down and connect one thought to another thought, another thought to another thought, so that logically it will deep dive. See, in a management, they spoke about a concept called as drill down technique. How many of you are aware of? Have you aware of something called as drill down technique? Very good. See, it says I can give you a very simple example to understand. Think about 2 friends. Try to understand this example. Okay, 2 friends. They'll buy a house in the same community next to each other. What happened? 2 friends, 2 close friends, bought 2 houses in the same community next to each other. See, they were very happy, they were friends, everything was going well. After 1 year, one house was looking fresh, new, everything was perfect. The second house, its paint started to fade. What's the first one? First one was completely new. For the second house, the paint started to fade. That particular person gave a complaint from where he has bought the house, and the complaint was, see, think about that particular person has bought paint from the Asian Paints, and it was not utilized. The problem was escalated to Asian Paints that after 1 year your paint is not, your paint has vanished after the 1 year itself. The Asian Paint is a very big company, cannot take the paint. They sent a survey engineer to a spot. The survey engineer stood in front of the house and saw what exactly is happening for 1 week. It's not 1 day or 2 days, for entire week. So he observed the house where the paint has faded. That particular house has been washed on daily basis. What is it? That particular house was washed on the daily basis. That is the reason. But he did not stop over there. He drilled down it. Why it was being washed every day. Okay, then he came to a question. So it used to have the bird dumplings more. So, you know it, right? Bird dumplings. So bird dumplings was more on that house. That is the reason that house being washed basically. The research did not stop over there. Why there was the bird dumpling over there on that house? The reason, so we say Gasgase Mara, we know it, right? So there was a Gasgase Mara. I don't know the English translation, please excuse me with respect to that. Okay, there was a, what is that? Which fruit? What is it? So I cannot change the name. It's a case study that they use always. I cannot change. You will change the name. So there was a tree. So that is the reason why the birds used to come over there, eat over there, and the dumplings used to be there. So then, why that fruit used to be there? Okay? We always know the tree was there. So then he wrote a survey. He concluded the survey. He wrote the solution and gave it to Asian Paints. What might be the solution? Okay, thank you. So, okay, so what might be the reason? What is the solution? What is the solution? The paint was fading. What is the solution that the Asian Paint suggested? Very good. They suggested cut the tree. Yes, that is not the root cause analysis. That is what the drill down technique is all about. Right? Think about it. If they give, see, okay, if the paint was defective, if they give one more bottle of paint, if the paint, again the same thing repeats. Right? Every single day they start washing the house, reason being this one, it will become a cycle. To cut the cycle, what is the simple solution is? Cut down the tree is a simple solution. So think about this. After giving this report, they agreed to cut the tree and Asian Paints gave one more free trial paint boxes to it. It was painted. So think about this. On a title note, if I go and complain, my house paint is getting vanished, cut the tree next to it and hang it. Nobody believes, but this is what the drill down technique of the management thesis talk about. So like this, that is where this also lies. The chain of thought also plays a major role. So every single problem has to be drilled down till you get the solution and then you need to analyze. See, look at the prompt. For each question, first identify key concept being tested. First you need to, I'm telling the AI machine to analyze 3 key concepts, then outline the answers in 3 steps, then write the final model answer and show me all the 3 steps. What happens when it shows all the 3 steps? Is there any fundamental mistake that AI has done in the first stage? I can rectify and correct it there itself. You cannot do that one when finally the answer is submitted to you. So ask the AI to break it down and show you all the different stages of how it generated the answer. So this is a very beautiful concept of prompting that all the people who want to work on the real life problems, want to solve the problems which are not being solved yet, will be using this. So this is how we can use this one in generating the answers for the questions with the Bloom's taxonomy and even the perfect rubrics. See, and this is one of the things that we need to understand. And this is also the most important thing. Always, see, these are the stages of getting the correct answer from your prompt. Always, they say, whenever the first answer is generated, treat that one as a draft. It is not the final one. See, we always do. I've seen people posting directly copying from the chat GPT and posting in the official groups. I've seen these mistakes. Many have done it, right? So always think in mind. So getting an answer from an AI machine is not one-step solution. It is the first answer is always the draft. Draft has to be reviewed manually. Then you have to refine it by giving one more prompt, and then finally the finalized answer is what you can trust. See, I'll talk about this one in the ethics part. Okay, so this is the most important part of generating the answers, generating the question papers, or generating the solution using AI. Please note, don't copy whatever the AI throws on you at the very first stage. Always that needs to be reviewed manually. And then you have to refine it by giving one more prompt. And finally, see, it is not just one single review will be enough. Sometimes there are multiple reviews that you need to give. Sometimes might be the twice, thrice, or 3 times. But see, the common problem with respect to free versions are you are exhausted your tokens, right? The common problem when we are working with respect to the free versions of Claude or ChatGPT is you have exhausted the tokens. That is, for your understanding, every single the bandwidth of life cycle of one single thing, the Claude will assign 2 lakhs tokens. How many tokens? We will be not able to understand this, we'll visualize it. it is almost like 600 books. It can read, review, and throw you an answer of 600 books at one life cycle. But we will not completely use it, we'll waste it with so many unnecessary things. Now, when I tell you, one single chat should be used for one single purpose, and when you use the structure, one life cycle of prompt is more than enough to get the desired answer, whatever that you want. So this is what you should be thinking. Please give importance to this particular slide. Never treat the first outcome as your final answer. Always manual reviewing, and then you need to rewrite it. Then you need to finalize it. See, and one more thing is, see, when I spoke about the constraints, yes, sir.
So,
I should go back to the previous.
so when you are rewriting the prompts, take a scenario which is a free version, take a scenario which is a paid version.
Okay.
And in the paid version, every rewrite that you are doing, it's a cost. There is a token that is
Correct.
And whatever output you are trying to generate using those rewrites, so there is always a cost benefit analysis. So how much money you are spending on the cloud and then getting these things and then the benefit that you are going to get. Nobody looks at this.
Correct.
And the cost goes up.
Correct.
You have an example in Australia, one of the banks.
If you don't mind, Varun.
So when this cost benefit model comes into picture of where you are in the paid version and then the benefit of output from that prompt. I know of an example in Australia. One of the bank employees, they were given all paid AI versions, and one of the employees at the end of the month, his AI consumption was 220k Australian dollars.
Okay.
220k Australian dollars. Just 1 month AI bill for one person.
Okay.
And what is the output? What is the benefit of that output?
See, it is the bank employee using it. We don't even know at what purpose. See, I'll come to a, see, this is the very point that I wanted to address when the previous conversation was going. See, I believe that Madam also does not believe. See, we need a policy for the AI in the working environment, or might be when we are teaching the students. See, I strongly believe, see, even I work on it. My consultancy is one of my consultancy works on building the policies for the schools as well. See, I build the policies for the faculties as well as for the students as well. So that is also that is needed, right? See, think about this. Will the bank approve all those things? See,
Only when the bill came, everybody realized.
see, that is where the bank doesn't have the policy and they're wasting the money. I'm not even know to comment on this. I don't even have enough knowledge to comment on it. What factors they have allowed them to use, what are the factors they have cut it down. See, even when I build the policies for the schools, we give the policies to the management and the faculty, they both sign together and they agree to use the AI for these many tasks. Okay, even with respect to the students, see, when I say we are talking about the students using AI for writing the letters, right? See, I clearly say that is the lack of knowledge. We are confusing the use of modern tools with respect to the laziness and lack of knowledge. Okay, they can use the AI tool for learning how to write a letter, right? It can teach them. So that is a different way of looking. I look at the things in different way. So it's not necessary that every teacher has the same opinion. There are hundreds of faculties that are watching online, and might be a couple of faculty sitting over there. Everybody will have a different opinion on this particular thing. So I believe on whatever that I believe and I work towards it. So you can believe on whatever that you accept and you can work on it. So both works in a different way. See, the student unable to write letter, the letter was taught in 5th standard. And at that particular time, they didn't even have AI. He did not learn to write the letter. So now if you don't write the letter, his purpose will not solve. So now he is compensating for lack of knowledge or lack of learning with respect to the AI. That is what I believe. So See, now we'll come back to our constraints part. Where was the constraint that we studied? Where was the constraint? Yes, in the anatomy, I spoke about the constraint as the third part. See, I'm talking about the negative constraint. See, it is as important as what should be done. You have to tell it what should not be done. You have to mention what are the things it should not do while generating the answers as well. See, when you're generating a question paper, clearly ask, no coding questions. What is it? It's a you are telling the computer what are the things it should avoid and skip when it is designing the elements over there. So that is also the most important thing when we are defining the prompt. And one more thing is, this is what we need always, matching the existing format. For that particular thing, always have your format in Word. See, I'll tell you, Word document will consume less tokens than uploading a PDF. Keep this one in mind. If you ask your prompt to read it from a PDF, it will consume more tokens instead of convert.
Since from the participants, lot of questions on medical health and mental health. Tomorrow, Professor Deepak S. Gadigaonkar is coming and discussing AI in mental health. I think you can have many questions and you can discuss with him in person. It is offline session. Thank you.
Yeah, we were talking. Yeah, so we were talking about this particular thing of matching an existing format. Think about this: our lesson plan has a format, question paper has a format, and even the result analysis it has a format. Everything has our own format. If the AI decides to generate a new format, it will take time to think what is the new format as well, and it has to put it over there. When you already tell it this is a format, you can save half of your tokens over there of avoiding the unnecessary thinking process with respect to which leads in wastage of tokens. Upload your lesson plan, previous year lesson plan, upload your previous year question paper. I was telling you this. Upload a Word document preferably to save your tokens. Okay, manually convert a PDF into Word document and upload a Word document to any of your AI machines. Reading PDF, reading image takes more tokens. Instead of when you work on the text Word document, it can work on much more bigger aspects. See, already when you give a particular format, the output will be generated in the same format itself, so that you don't need to rework much. See, previously the people were talking about using the AI for research. If you ask me whether they can use it, see, they can use it as starting from zero. See, and then with respect to this, I was it was exactly this scenario. It was happened in the US court. Some case to the judge. They have cited so many different cases, and the cases were not even existent. Completely summarized, everything has done. It has, and these lawyers have not even checked anything, and they have submitted that one to the judge. When the judge referred the citation, and they were sentenced. They were submitted, that was thrown to a dustbin in few seconds. Okay, that is where, see, the next part I'll come to the hallucination as well. It is also, AI is also, you know the hallucination, right? What exactly is hallucination? I'll come, imagining something that is not existing. So I'll come to that part as well. So when I say this one, see, first one is the negative constraint and the output matching. Negative constraint is tell the machine what exactly not to do, and format specify the format in the Word document, preferably in the Word document. If you are okay spending more tokens, even PDF will also work fine. See, now it is your task. In 5 minutes, you have to pick any one of this one, and you have to write a prompt, attach a format, and get this one done. ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ? See, they have 15 minutes. Please take this one. Please work on this one. After once the session is done, if you don't do this today, you'll forget all the key elements that we spoke about. At least when you go back home, pick any one of this, whichever that we'll be using in the next week. Prepare that one and go back. Done? So that I hope that you'll do it. I'll go to the next part of it. See, we come to the final part. Yes, the most important thing that we need to think, that we need to analyze when we are talking about AI. The first one is hallucination. See, the AI machine can post you a wrong result with the same confidence, with the same what do you say, with the same beautiful format, like how it posts correct answers as well. Okay, so it doesn't even hesitate to post your wrong answer. So it is so hallucinated with respect to whatever the answers that will be generated. With at the most confidence, it will throw a wrong answers to your faces. How do you identify? That is where the previous example, what I told you, is a clear case of hallucination. So what you need to do is, what I spoke about the 4 stages. The first one is the prompt will generate a result. That initial result has to be treated as a draft, manually verify, rewrite it, ask it to correct it, then you have to get the final submission. So never ever submit the initial copies over there without manually reviewing. So that is what the ethical thing that you need to watch. So as an academicians, what are the next thing that we need to think about? See, when we prepare the question papers, when we prepare the scheme, think about, see, don't prepare a ready question paper. My take is, take the AI help, prepare 70% of the question paper, where it will reduce 70% of your job. In 30%, use it for correcting it, reviewing it. Never ever deliver anything that is generated by AI without reviewing it. That should be the first most ethical responsibility of everybody who is using an AI machine. If you don't have time for this, never use it. Prepare it from zero. See, think about how much time does it take to prepare a question paper? Think about, there is no AI machine that exists. You have to prepare a question paper for 30 marks. Think about it. You're putting all the Bloom's taxonomies, course outcome, mapping it. How much time it will take? Might be 2 hours. Framing 6 to 12 questions. Prepare it. Previous 1 to 2 hours is what it will take. If you tell it to generate, you can save at least 40 minutes, 40 to 50 minutes. Spend 10 minutes to review every question, think about the relativeness, then publish it. How the? See, if you think about 1 hour will be done in 1 minute, that is where you are ethically hindered by an AI machine. So please, academic integrity, whenever that we spoke about AI in academics, this is a responsibility of every single faculty who's sitting over here, you're watching online, whenever that you're using your prompt, please make sure we do our shopping, we are exposed completely. We are online, we have completely given our data. At least when we talk about this AI machine, never expose an individual student data to an AI. So never put a mask card of any student or a personal information over there and tell the AI to analyze its reports. Mask is integrity. If you want to see the growth of us, mask his name and USN, then post it and try to analyze whatever the results that you want to do it. And even so, any of your personal data, try to avoid giving it to an AI machine is also one of the.
Shared. Suppose, in case if it is shared, then what are the consequences? May I know?
Madam, this data will be read by the system and used. It can be used in multiple ways, ma'am. See, I can tell you a very simple. I can give you a very simple answer to this. Think about, I like Ghibli art and I upload my photo and ask the AI machine to trace a Ghibli art of mine. So, how I look, AI knows. So, see, it knows how to trace my face. It knows how to trace my nose. What if somebody use the same data to trace something else out of my image? Right? It will never stop at Ghibli.
Possibly these guesses we also can do.
No, madam, it is not the guesses that we are doing. This is what the cyber crimes that are happening across the globe. This is where the pure concern, that is why every single person who is working with the cyber society or secure in India, they are every single time they are telling us not to expose any of our private information to the AI. If you see, the first thing what even our cyber police will tell you is never ever give your personal information to any of your AI. Even not to share your photos, not to generate the photos using AI. It is not guessing, madam. It is already happening every single place. The people are so volatile. The data is so volatile. It can be used for anything.
Whatever we upload or whatever we share, is it going to be stored somewhere along with the AI?
Madam, there are something called as data repositories across the globe, where every single information, every single task that we spoke about will be stored as a trained information to the AI system. So when we started the conversation, I told you the same thing. So in the 2020, when GPT-3 was introduced, it was fed on a 45 terabytes of data. Where is the data? That is exactly the data, whatever that we share across the globe. Every single conversation that happens, that will also be stored. Okay, every single thing that is happening across the globe will also be stored. In the data repository, every single, whatever the new task that the AI machine will do, it will be stored as a trained data. It can be used for whatever might be the purpose in the later stages of the day.
Okay, is there any improvement on this sharing and all further?
Madam, see, think about this. There are secured platforms like ChatGPT, the name itself, see, they don't want to spoil their name. Claude, they don't want to spoil their name. There are certain AI platforms without, there are certain photo editing apps that works on AI. They don't have the accountability, they can do your data whatever. But when there is a particular company which has a proper incubation, with the proper rules and regulations bounded by it, they also have the governing bodies. They cannot directly sell our data. But when we use third-party software which doesn't have the authentication, there might be a chance of our data leakage. Not with respect to these many bodies, but we go, why do we want to take the risk with respect to our data?
Then we can't use the fully the ChatGPT or AI tools.
Madam, you can use it. Why do you need your personal, see, are we not using the phone fully without masking our banking details? Right? We protect our banking details and use our phone completely, right?
Yeah, that is there.
That is how we need to use the AI systems as well. But see, once you see, you can lock your phone and protect your data. But once it goes to the server, we don't have any locking things over there. We cannot have the permission to lock it. It can be used for whatever might be the purpose. See, I can give you an example. I think I have discussed this one with respect to you. When you go and get yourself a medical test done, okay, if the data goes into the internet, that can be used in multiple ways. I can give you an example. The next annual premium of your insurance policy will go high, 100%. See, those are the what I say is one of the adverse effect of putting your personal data into it. See, if you want, you can try it. Madam, I have to get into the basics of computers now. I'll tell you. So when we deal with the computers or any of the electronic device, there is no thing called as delete. There is nothing called as delete. Okay, it is only the link with respect to the data and where it is shown is the link will be what removed. The data will store in the memory itself. Even that same thing happens with respect to wherever the platform. All the electronic data storage works in the same mechanism till date. Digital data will be stored in the same way. So data is once the previous data is rewritten with the new data, once the zeros and ones are refixed, then only the data will get erased. Until then, whatever the data, whatever the things that we have, that is, see, you're talking about deleting the chats in the cloud, but your data has already reached the server. And not only that one, whatever that we use, Alexa and the Siri, they're not work through your phone. They're always, whatever the message that you say here, that will be connected to the server. From the server, Apple California, it will come back and reach you. The answers will reach you. So your every conversation is stored in the server, not in your phone. If you delete it here, your phone will become free, but the data will be there in the server. So Data privacy is the most expensive thing that we can have, and we should be. See, our data is our responsibility. It's not the responsibility of the cloud or ChatGPT, right?
Sir, I want one more clarification on your answer. That is, just now you told the medical report should not be uploaded. So it is going to, your premium is going to be definitely increased. How that is going to be connected to the bank? May I know in detail?
But everybody across the globe, we are very correct. So we are not using the data to make profit. But the bigger companies are using data to make decisions, to sell you the product, to make you a customer. All those things are working. So when you go for a pre-medical checkup that is combined with respect to your policy, whatever the data that is there over there will be given to the companies. And when the company sees there is an inclination of your cholesterol or sugar level, they definitely should be next insurance.
Means that report must be linked to the policy.
Policy.
Okay, then only they are
Yes.
going to catch the report.
Yes. Or else,
Thank you very much.
see everywhere the Aadhaar is connected. We are connected now. So the government is doing the same thing. SIR is also doing the same thing. So we are connected now. Our digital footprints are so strong, you cannot erase it. Everything will be connected. Okay, so data, whatever that you put it, everybody will be using it. So, yes. Done? So, the last checklist, whatever that we spoke about today. So, when I am giving, see, whenever that you write a prompt, please make sure if you can take this photo or a screenshot it. So, you have to make sure that you have included these checklists. The first one is, what is that? What is the first one? So, the first thing, have I assigned the task to the ChatGPT or a cloud to perform? First question, checklist. If what all you have assigned the task, done. Good, you have done it. So, next, have I given the context? Have you specified the context? If not, you have to specify it. After once you specify it, you can mark it down. Then, constraints. Have you worked on the constraints? And then, so have you specified the format, whichever the format you need? Yes. And then, examples. If you want to have an example, see, we have two different types of examples that we read aloud. What are the two different examples? No shorts and few shorts that we spoke about. So think about that. Have we mentioned that one? Amen. The last final stages. This is the most important thing. What is it? Have I verified the facts before using the output? That is also a checklist. Not only the prompt, have I verified the output is also the thing that you need to do. And what is the last one? What is the last one? So this is also comes under the ethics. That is also a checklist that you need to think about. But as the teachers, when we are using either the cloud or a ChatGPT, we should be using it very responsibly. Okay, so make sure that every fact that we post to the students, every information that we give it to the world should be at most integrated and at most accurate. Not just depend on the ChatGPT or a cloud for all your answers. Because we are accountable, right? The accountability is the first thing that as a faculty that we should give it to the world. If you're not accountable, then whatever that you do, that will be going in a waste. So please make sure that you follow all these things when you are doing the next prompting. So I have two things that you wanted to work with. The one was completing this, right? The one more was just see if you do this, that will also come in this one itself. So before you finish this 5-day workshop, before getting to your campus, please prepare any one of this and use it in your next classes. Any questions on prompting, preferably? Yes.
Sir, I need to generate some answer.
In
prompt, if I use some pampering words, please get the answers.
Answer?
Pampering.
Pampering.
Yeah.
words, I give like that, and give the answer from
I can see the loneliness here.
from AI. And I use next the prompt will be some unconstitutional words, and I ask that prompt to that AI to give the answers. What will be the difference? And if they guess the
Where exactly that will this particular scenario will be used as a teacher, sir? Huh?
generally
No, this session is only about prompt engineering for educators. So I should have had the conversation previously with respect to this. Okay, so where if you can relate me the scenario where exactly that you need to use this one as a teacher, I'll proceed with the answer.
it's
Thank you.
just a generalized question.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I have never tried telling I love you to a machine, sir. So that is why I don't know what exactly the answer. Life is not so tough for me. Definitely yes, madam. Yes, see, instead of starting it from the scratch,
Some institutions directly, say, please don't use the AI tools to set the question paper, especially for the end semester exams and all. Okay, they were, but here, this is an open forum, and then here
Yes.
you set, this way we can. And that might give us a perfect question paper, but is it violating the confidentiality? That is my
madam, so right now we don't have any policies with respect to the university or with respect to the college. Might be a world policy that they have.
Yeah.
Okay, so but the thing is, what I'm telling you with respect to the steps, what I'm telling you here. Yeah. So with respect to the steps, what I'm telling you here, if you follow this one, you can prepare an highly integrated questions. If you don't follow this, see previously the faculties used to prepare the question paper without using the structured forms. So where the question used to violate even the college patterns or what might be the examination structure. When you use a proper structured question, see, I'm not telling you prepare the 100%. See, I'm telling you for preparing the question paper from scratch, it might take 1.5 hours to 2 hours. When you use it to generate, it can save 70% of your time, but 25% is fine given.
Can save over time, and sometimes the quality also might be a little better.
Definitely.
But my question is it approved?
Madam, there is no, see, that is where I'm telling
Maybe
you.
in the policy, I think they might
Yeah.
come with some kind of
They
policy.
have to come up with a policy, madam. So every institution, see, if at all your institution says,
Yeah.
I want the genuinity and I don't want any faculties for using AI for XYZ task. If they define it, then preparing it is a void. So if they have not seen, for my,
Currently, VTU is not.
no, VTU has no constraint as such. According to the VTU, they have not written any AI policy with respect to framing the question. They don't.
In your session, one thing that I used to follow was, I believe if I say please, then it will give me the perfect answer. Thank you so much, sir, because it is made for that, and then we have to just command it to do it. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions?
VTV circular ಬಂದಿತ್ತು ಸರ್ ವೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ
Question correction ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ
Questions.
ಅವರೇ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ
Even valuation through AI.
Yes, they are thinking. They're thinking. Valuation through AI is thinking.
ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಪೇಪರ್
Hala. We are not going to clear.
ಸರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ
So the they're answering yeah question. So the VTU has generated a new circular saying that they'll prepare the question papers using AI itself. Correct? Yes. And even with respect to my knowledge, whatever the last circular that I read, VTU is thinking of even correcting the question papers through AI. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. But everything is, see, there is no AI involved right now. It is already, everything is systemized. See, it's a digital valuation. As soon as you finish your valuation, the marks will be entered into a database. until the last practical batches finishes and the faculty enters the marks here and closes, everything is already connected. Data is up. No A. Right now there is no A. It's only the database and the working of the connecting the things is what working. So they release the result in 5 minutes. Even exactly the same things are happening right away. As soon as the last date of the practical examination is done, practical examination was at 5:30. 5:35 the results will be out. So it's a data. They have a clear structured format and the well-structured environment they are generating. There is no AI involved as for now. So thank you very much for your time. I hope I have at least made you to understand few basic elements. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
We express our gratitude to you for engaging the session. You have covered the topic prompt engineer for education. I think it will be really helpful for all the faculties as we are in the teaching field. As a faculty from the of engineering and management sciences, your practical examples made it even more relatable for all of us. Thank you once again, sir. Tomorrow, the session will be start at 9:15. You're going to have 3 sessions. 9:15.
1-5.
I request everyone to assemble in the auditorium at 9:15. Thank you all.
Freedom.